Hello there, and welcome to yet another episode of the Make Art Don't Starve podcast. I'm your host, Kelsey.
And I'm your other host, Al.
And today is a special episode.
Oh, yeah.
It's unique, it's niche. We're brought to you live from the hot takes of social media, which is what we're going to be talking about today. We have so many hot takes.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of like by nature of being on the internet, you get opinions about things, especially when you post stuff online and you have like a brand and like you post your art and all of that stuff. So in this episode, we want to share some of our extremely hot, spicy takes. Please don't cancel us over these. I promise we will introduce some nuance, and we have reasons.
Yes.
We have good reasons for all the things that we're going to be talking about today. So to preface, I genuinely do not think that you need social media to succeed as an artist. You can do other things. There are artists that like just teach at the university level. Like they're an art professor. There are also artists that just have work in galleries and they only market their work in the traditional like art industry kind of sphere. There are artists that have 9-to-5s in animation and background design and environment design. You do not need social media to succeed as an artist. If you're not going to go that route, though, you're going to have good art. You're going to need to have a solid portfolio. You're going to have like a cohesive story behind your work if you're going to go into galleries. Galleries love to sell pieces with a story. They want to sell collections that have a very clear through line, that have an amazing story behind them, that are conceptual. I know plenty of successful artists that don't have large followings on social media. Whenever someone comments on one of my videos where I talk about how to grow on social media or how to make money as an artist, they're like, well, I need a social media following to do all of those things. I'm like, you don't. Okay? You don't. You really don't. Please, like, just stop believing in this. Yes, you will have to be more creative. You will have to market locally. You will have to like do more, and you're gonna have to focus more on the quality of your work. But social media is kind of the easy route.
Yeah, it's expedited.
Yeah. So if you don't have great art, if you are a low-skilled artist, you can absolutely build a following on social media by sharing the journey, because people love to be represented.
Yeah.
They want to see themselves on the other side of the screen. If you believe that I have to have, 100,000 followers on Instagram to succeed as an artist, like, you're wrong. Those numbers do not indicate success, like, commercially, and only Sith deal in absolutes. The world is not yes or no. There are so many gray areas, and, like, art is such a wide and varied field that there are so many ways to have a creative career. You can make it exactly what you want it to be.
You don't need experience to just start an Instagram or start a YouTube channel. I also think, like, obviously you don't need social media. I think it's really beneficial for artists. Even if you already have a, more traditional career in your local area, it can be really helpful in making you more visible. When I started out, I wasn't intending to make a career out of it. And it was just a way for me to connect with artists. I had gone from high school where I had my art friends to college where I had no art friends. And it was a way for me to make those art friends, to be part of the art community again and learn about the community. So I think, personally, I just think there's a lot of advantages to being online as an artist and having social media. And I think it's often demonized, probably very rightfully, but I think if you do it the right way, there are ways to enjoy it.
Social media platforms can be a total nightmare. At the end of the day, like, no one is going to be able to buy your work and support you financially if they don't know that you exist.
Absolutely.
However you want to do that is fine, but social media is an easy route. Marketing locally in art fairs, cafes, galleries, like networking, like, I don't know, conventions, like whatever you have to do, go for it. But posting it on social media doesn't have to be this soul-sucking thing. You can use it to your advantage. You can have whatever relationship with it that best fits you and your personality. I don't like to be on 24/7, which is why I post once a week on YouTube.
I know everyone hates to hear it, but really quick, we just want to give like a disclaimer that this is our opinions based on our personal experiences. You don't have to agree. We have reasons.
You can fervently disagree if you want
to.
You can be
let
like,
us know.
They're full of shit.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
That's totally fine. We have our reasons for feeling this way, and you probably have your reasons for feeling the opposite, and that's totally fine. But we just want to make it clear that, like, we're not any authority on this. You don't have to listen to what we say or agree. But we want to share our opinions and our thoughts because we think it's fun and we like to be sassy sometimes.
So we're going to start off with Instagram.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about TikTok and YouTube.
First of all, I know everyone hates Instagram. Everyone's quitting Instagram, and we just had that very productive conversation with Louise, which I fully agree with Louise. I think she made some amazing points. However, I personally just don't think Instagram is that bad. A lot of people want to quit Instagram. They think it's like horrible for artists and it's like killing your mental health. And I get it. But also, I think you're just doing it wrong, in my opinion, because it's easy for me to say. I started back in the day when the algorithm was much, much kinder to artists. But like when people complain about like, oh, like the algorithm is changing. Now I have to do reels. I have to do all these things. To me, it's kind of like, okay, and like so. Like, you're getting this great platform. It is, because it's a very visual platform. Like YouTube, Kelsey, I know you love YouTube. I feel like I've always felt like my home is Instagram, because I don't have to like do all this production just to share my art. I can just take a picture of my art, post it, and leave, and then it's out there and people get to see it. And I love that. I think it's like the ideal platform for artists. And like, okay, so I have to like make a few reels. Okay, like that's fine. Maybe it's a little annoying that like you have to do reels to be like successful, but like making reels isn't hard really. And you know, again, that's just my experience, my opinion. But when people like complain about, oh, like things are changing, or you don't have to do those things. Instagram is not going to like kick you off the platform if you don't do like what's popular or what's trendy. If you are worried about growth and if you are worried about making a platform with a lot of followers, I hate to tell you, but you're gonna have to go with the trends. You're gonna have to, you know, work with the platform that you're on. That's just a nature of being in that kind of career. Like just like any other job, literally any other job, you would be expected to make changes and grow with whatever you're doing. So I think it's kind of like, if you're so unhappy, you're allowed to be unhappy on Instagram. You can quit. I don't care. I'm not telling you have to be on Instagram. But I think there's a lot of negativity about Instagram, and I think people are overcomplicating it. You can get what you want out of Instagram. Like, you don't have to do what everyone tells you have to do. Do whatever you want. And if you want to grow, maybe you're going to have to do like the trends. I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's like, I have a good time on Instagram. You know, I am aware of what will bum me out. I don't go on there too often. I don't stay there every day and all day every day. But if I have to make a reel every now and then, so be it. You know, it's frustrating when posts don't get a lot of reach, but if all you had to do was post and every post got evenly pushed to everyone, there's no way that we could all grow. You know what I mean? Like, of course there has to be competition. Of course some people are pushed more than others. That's just kind of like the nature of the world. And I think when people complain about it and say that it, you know, destroys their mental health, if that is the truth for you, then like take care of yourself. Delete the app. You know, that's totally fine. But maybe try different things first. Maybe try a few different, you know, techniques and methods, and try just, you know, doing what you want to do instead of doing what people tell you to do. I just get frustrated when I hear people, and not frustrated, that's the wrong word, because I don't care what people do. But Instagram having this very bad, like, negativity surrounding it. They're like, oh, it's horrible for artists. Like, yeah, it is, but, like, is there anything, like, really better? Like, I still think it's a great platform.
At the end of the day, you don't have to post on Instagram, whatever. I made a video, like, about a year ago or something now about why Instagram sucks for artists. Yeah. And I stand by the stuff that I made in that video. Yeah. I think, like, genuinely, like, for a lot of artists, Instagram is not the place to be. And, like, for me specifically, it didn't work well at the time. But that was because I was trying to grow on Instagram, and I don't think that I'm well suited to grow on Instagram. My YouTube channel has grown my Instagram more than posting on Instagram ever did, like ever. I made a video about a year ago now talking about why I genuinely don't like Instagram, why I think it doesn't work for artists like me, and I stand by the points I made in that video, talking about how that is a lot of work to grow on Instagram, like posting stills and reels and all of that stuff and being active on stories and just kind of promote this, like, existence of being constantly online that I don't really enjoy. However, I also think that the reason why I was feeling that way about Instagram, why I didn't like it, why I felt so drained, why I felt like it was like toxic on my art and my creativity and my artistic growth, was because I was trying to grow on Instagram. Right. I don't think that Instagram is a good platform to grow on for artists like me, like oil painters, people that just aren't well suited to it. Posting on YouTube has grown my Instagram more than posting on Instagram literally ever did, like ever in the history of like all existence. And I think I was just considering Instagram as like a growth platform, as like the top of my marketing funnel. And genuinely, I think that if I ever returned to Instagram, I would just post casually, like just on the side, making reels when I wanted to, posting on stories, like being kind of active, but like more active on YouTube, and having a platform that's focused on building a community, like building a relationship with your audience, and that kind of stuff is way, way better than trying to use Instagram as a platform for growth.
I feel like a lot of people have their platform. You know what I mean? They have their platform that works for them and suits them. And what you said about posting casually on Instagram, like for me, that's the way to go. Like I've never really I see Instagram as like my main platform. And every once in a while, I'll try to I'll post like a couple of reels in a row and be like, ooh, like get me that growth. But overall, I post when I want to post, what I want to post. I say what I want to say, and I use it the way I want to. And so I don't have that like pressure, and I don't really care about the numbers to a certain extent. Of course, it's my job, so of course I get a little dumpy about it sometimes. But overall, like I think for some people it just doesn't work. And I think for some people it works really well. And I think if you're somewhere in between, don't worry, but like just post casually, just enjoy it.
Yeah, and you can have primary and secondary social media platforms in your marketing strategy for your business. Like for me, my primary platform is YouTube. I love YouTube. I know how it works. I enjoy doing it. Like I like talking about it.
Yeah.
And I don't enjoy Instagram as much, but people are following me there, even though I don't post. So I might as well kind of take advantage of that. Yeah. So for me, like Instagram, places like my Discord server are like more secondary platforms, more like spaces for me to remind people that I exist when I'm not posting on YouTube. Like when I want to take a break, that's a great place for me to connect with my audience and be like, hi, like here's a thing that I made, you can buy it if you want, or sign it for my email list, or like watch my Skillshare class, like whatever. That's a great place to be. And also, you don't want to have your eggs all in one basket. If my channel were for whatever reason like taken down, I still want a way to connect with my audience, and that's where things like Instagram, my email list, and my Discord server come into play. Having those other modes of communication is a great place and a great like kind of thing to have. And also like having copies of all of my YouTube videos so I can re-upload them if I have to. Like creating that like sort of net, that safety net for yourself is great. Even if I don't like kind of actively post on Instagram right now, I could pivot to that if I needed to. And I think that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think us having pretty kind of opposite feelings, not necessarily opposite, but differing opinions on Instagram is a great place for me to mention. Not only did I give the disclaimer of, these are our opinions, but Kelsey and I do have differing opinions, and we are very respectful of each other. We did get a comment.
I mean, like, we're different people, you know what I mean? Like,
we have very different approaches.
Our personalities are going to be a little bit different. That's totally fine. That comes into our opinions. Like, whatever, it's fine.
Yes, and we have different approaches to our art channels and our platforms, and we go about things in a different way, and we make different content. And I think that's important to keep in mind, that at no point are Kelsey and I, shady each other. Or are we, we have differing opinions and differing approaches, and we are both very respectful of each other. There's no hard feelings or anything. So if at any point anyone says anything that sounds like it might be, I don't know, rude, we've already talked about
like
this.
It's not. Like,
we ranted this.
There's so much context.
Stuff.
Like we FaceTime all the time.
All the time.
Earlier this week, watched a movie together virtually, and that was really fun.
Yes.
Like we want to visit their IRL. Like we're friends.
Yeah, we're friends.
Like there's no hard feelings.
Yeah. Like all of these things
clear from our vibe. We like each other.
We do actually enjoy each other's company, believe it or not. So those are our feelings about Instagram. Hot takes.
And also if Instagram like makes you feel like you have to sell your soul, I have some bad news for you about galleries, honey, because galleries work the same way.
Yep.
When people like a certain thing that you make, there's more demand for it.
Yep.
Capitalism.
Same.
You want to make more supply, feed that demand. And galleries, like smart galleries, might encourage you to make more of the stuff that sells. Be like, hey, like, this is a mutually beneficial business partnership we got going on here. I want to make money. You want to make money. Yeah. Why don't you make the thing that makes us make money? That was a lot of making there, but you get it. It's hard to go against the flow. And if you feel like any social media platform is stifling your artistic growth, you just got to do it, like follow your heart, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I make YouTube videos that are just for me. I know they're not going to get views. That's fine. Right. That's okay. Like, I wanted to make that thing. I wanted it to be in the world. And sometimes I make videos, I have months of time where I make videos that are just focused on doing what works, doubling down on what works for my channel, growing my channel, and making more like sort of meta art content about how to find your style, how I'm making money as an artist, the kinds of videos that I have a competitive advantage over in the community. Like I make really good versions of those videos and people like to see them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what I make when I want to grow my channel. So going through periods of growth both in terms of the numbers and artistic growth, is totally valid. Like, you can balance these things out however you want.
And I think if you're going to be very focused on growth, audience growth, then you have to be willing to quote unquote sell your soul. It doesn't have to be that deep. It doesn't have to be that hard. But I think if you're I see a lot of people who will make comments about, I just want to make friends, I don't care about the numbers, so I don't want to make reels. Like, then you don't have to make reels. Either you want to grow and you're willing to make the reels, or you don't want to grow and so you don't care about making reels. Like, unfortunately, you can't have it both ways. Just like Kelsey made the gallery analogy, it's the same thing in all realms of pretty much everything, but you can't have it both ways. And I think you just have to be a little bit willing to sometimes step out of your comfort zone, and maybe it feels a little bit like selling out every once in a while. But if you want this to be your job, if you want it to be, something that continues growing, sometimes you do have to sell out a little. It doesn't have to be.
And also, I think like providing value for people and entertaining them is not selling out.
It's not selling
out. You are
out.
Delivering a service that people are actively enjoying. Like, that's cool. That's good. My additional hot take, like more generally, is that to a certain extent, like, you really do have to care about the numbers. It's not mandatory per se.
Right.
But when you care about the numbers, when you try and optimize the content that you post online, your life can change really fast. Like, mine has.
Yeah.
my life has changed really fast. Like, so much that it's a little bit scary and I sometimes get nervous about it. But that's the power that focusing on the numbers can have. And now I have the financial freedom and stability to be able to take time off, to protect my mental health, to show up when I want to, and more importantly, I can use that money and that break time and whatever to focus on artistic growth, like to just make stuff that's just for me. And that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I would not be able to do that if I wasn't so like fervently into the numbers.
For sure.
So that's just me. That's just my hot take.
So the next platform we're going to talk about is TikTok. In my opinion, in my, hot take, is that TikTok is honestly the worst platform for creators. I think it really is.
Except maybe LinkedIn.
Okay, so LinkedIn, is in hell. It's like LinkedIn is like here, and then it's like TikTok, and then like the other things.
Yeah, I think it goes like LinkedIn, Twitter, and then maybe TikTok. I don't know.
Yeah.
LinkedIn to me is like a corporate hellscape, but anyway, TikTok.
LinkedIn is terrifying. TikTok is, in my opinion, one of the worst possible platforms. I think it really only makes sense for short-term growth and short-term success, and it really is not going to, in my experience, is not going to set you up for long-term success. The only times I've ever seen people get success is, if one TikTok kind of goes viral and then maybe their shop sells out the next day, but then after that things kind of peter out for them, and it's just not sustainable. It's not going to support you long-term. I also know that a lot of people are quitting TikTok for mental health reasons. It's become pretty toxic. It's going through, the 2012, 2014 Tumblr phase. It's not a fun place for a lot of people. And so I can see TikTok kind of maybe losing some credibility. And so I don't think it's maybe a place that you should be investing in. If it's fun for you, if it's working for you, awesome, pop off. In my experience, it's hard to go viral, and going viral is really the only way to get success, and that success doesn't even last that long. But it's not, to me, it's just not worth investing time in, because you have to make a lot of TikToks for the chances of them to go viral to increase, and it's a lot of work for not a lot. I also think that small businesses on TikTok have lost a lot of credibility because of, do you remember that craze of like the guilt tripping in order to get
oh my god, like the buy from my small business or I'll break into your home and murder you and your entire family.
Like,
those
I'm working
audios,
3 jobs to like make my dream come true, like support me. And it's like, and people got mad about it, which I agree. I got mad about it. It was frustrating to like, I don't want to support you just because you're this person or because you try this hard. Like, I try that hard too. Like, I'm not begging, like, and I get it. Cause like, there's like the whole sound of like, show something that you thought would sell well but didn't, and it's like I love that. I want to use that sound because I do have those things, and it's not guilt tripping. It's just like this is true. So I get the appeal to make those things. I get the mindset, but from an audience standpoint, it sucks to see. And so I think TikTok has lost a lot of people. Kind of get mad if you even use the small business hashtag. People are like, no. So I don't think that's really helpful for you. So overall, I just think like TikTok is not, it's a really fun place, but like in terms of it being a main platform, like, I don't see that being great for artists, in my opinion.
So this is so interesting because like my opinions about Instagram are your opinions about TikTok.
Yeah,
Like I
yep.
think TikTok can be a great place for artists to grow. I think its usefulness is in how easy it is to build an audience for most people. TikTok is like in that early golden era that you were in when you were building your first Instagram
Yeah,
following for
that's
your
fair.
account. And like the barrier to success is far lower than it is on Instagram. I think like if artists on Instagram put as much or a little bit more effort into TikTok, they'd explode. That being said, I'm not on TikTok, so all of
No, I
this
really-
is just like the vibes that I've been getting,
Yeah.
the information that I've received, and like what I know about the community there. But I think TikTok is not like, it shouldn't be the platform that you put the most energy into because, like, yes, you can build an audience easily on TikTok, but I think again its usefulness is building an audience and then converting them off platform onto places like YouTube or your Instagram, platforms like YouTube especially that have built-in monetization opportunities,
Yeah.
platforms you can actually make money. On TikTok, Hank Green did a great video on this talking about how TikTok, the creator fund, like as the platform succeeds, as creators gain more success, they're actually making less
Yep.
money per view. And that's terrible.
Yeah,
TikTok
for
and
sure.
Instagram both like seriously have to figure out how to pay their creators. So many people are making like insanely trendy audios, things that shape pop culture,
Yeah.
and they're not getting compensated for that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine if Vine paid creators, if Vine like stuck around, really invested in its community, like utopia? We
Yeah.
would be like heaven
Everything would
on
be
earth,
perfect.
like post scarcity Star Trek society level of like awesomeness.
Yeah.
And I genuinely like post wherever you want, grow wherever you want
Mm-hmm.
to, but I think the smartest move for artists and creatives is to put more attention to platforms that will pay you money to be
Yeah.
there. At least right now, that's TikTok and that's YouTube. And for me, especially like where I'm posting, obviously that's YouTube. YouTube pays a ton of money. There are a ton of opportunities on YouTube. And I think like it takes work. It takes work. It takes effort. It's not a guarantee. But if you're able to get there, oh boy, that's awesome. And that sort of brings us into YouTube, which is the final platform that we will be talking about in this hot takes session. So, YouTube, why do I like it so much? Great question. I'm so glad you asked. Oh my god. I like YouTube because it just makes sense for me. I like the craft of making a video. I like playing with white balance. I like camera gear. I like editing it. I like spending way too much money on the creative editing packs. I like paying $300 to get an anamorphic lens filter for my phone. Like the bizarre things of like just improving slightly the quality of my videos is like my kink. I'm just so into it. I just like love I just love video production so much. Like it's just so much fun for me. I love planning out shot angles and like getting cool scenes. Like the satisfaction that I get from syncing up B-roll clips to a really great song is like unheard of. Like the bedroom, no, give me a really good B-roll sequence. I swear to god, that's like
That's all I need.
just, it's so good. Just will satisfy me for like the rest of my existence. For me especially, I like thinking of everything as like a strategy. Like I like playing the long game, and YouTube is the long game. Like I've been on the platform for 2 years. I'm gonna film a video after this episode's over actually talking about why, you know, how I got to the achievement that I've gotten on YouTube, how I reached 40,000 subscribers, like all of that good stuff. I think of YouTube, every single video that I make is an investment in a portfolio. Like they're like stocks in my portfolio. Any video at any point could take off if I, you know, do the right things or make high quality content. If the title and the thumbnail are like on point, you know what I mean? And I like doing that. I like learning with every single one. I like having the robust analytics, and that whole portfolio becomes a passive income stream. Like once you
Absolutely.
get enough videos under your belt, I'm making thousands of dollars every single month, but I don't have to post a video to maintain that to a certain degree. Like yes, you do have to kind of keep on top of things to be able to keep making money, but there is money that will probably almost always roll in despite that. but the numbers will fluctuate. And I think some artists on YouTube get really complacent about their content and the kind of stuff that they're posting and stop trying to improve. And that's when their channel starts dipping. That's when they stop seeing those numbers, they stop seeing that growth. And like you were saying about Instagram, you have to keep with the times.
Yeah.
Like you kind of have to care about your video quality, about the lighting, about your audio. That stuff is really important. It makes a difference. High quality content will always stand out on the platform. Literally always. I don't care how saturated you think YouTube is. I guarantee you have gone on YouTube and been like, but I don't want to watch any of these videos right now. None of these look good. Exactly. That is my point. There is always a shortage of high quality content that is geared toward a specific audience and that provides value. And that, I think, is where so many creators are just like missing the point of YouTube. If you make high quality content geared toward an audience and you always try to improve, you always focus on making each video better than the last, like you're golden. You're gonna get to work with Fortune 500 companies out of nowhere. Like your life's gonna change overnight. That's gonna be amazing if you have a lot of hard work and a little bit of luck along the way. And like that's kind of what it's all about. Like YouTube is in some sense kind of a lottery,
For sure.
but you can optimize your chances of winning that lottery by posting consistently and improving and having a very clear strategy. To me, that just like that mindset works so much better for me than Instagram. I don't know, there's just like something about that. Like how there's search, like a search platform built into YouTube, how it is at its core a search engine. That's awesome. It means your audience can find you. It means they're looking for you. It means they want the value that you provide. And that's amazing.
I definitely agree. I think YouTube is the best platform in terms of making this, if you want to be an artist and you want it to be your career, you want to make money, YouTube is the ultimate platform, because not only does it have a built-in monetization, but that actually works for you, but also it's like that's the highest rate of getting patrons and getting people to buy from you, way higher than it would be for something like Instagram. However,
exactly. You can build a relationship. Yeah.
Yes. However, like to me, YouTube is the ultimate gaslight gatekeep girl boss. It is so like I firmly believe that, because it gatekeeps, man. It is because like you said, it's really important to have high quality equipment. And of course that's not a rule. You can make great videos and have a lot of success filming on your phone in your bedroom with no lighting, with no proper microphone.
It's so much harder though. It's so much harder.
And it requires money. My camera is like $1,500. Things are expensive. And I had to buy 2 ring lights, and I had to get a microphone, and I have to have a laptop that can manage editing. You have to know technology. You have to be able to troubleshoot all of this equipment that you have. You have to be able to edit, and not just edit, but you have to be able to edit well. So not only do you have to know how to like do timing, you also know how to do you have to know how to do white balance, you have to understand contrast, you have to understand composition, you have to understand color, you also have to understand all of your editing software and how to make fun edits, you have to understand monetization, you have to understand copyright. Not only do you have to have all of this knowledge and be good at it and make a good product, there's also the time that goes into producing a video. For me, doing the art is like, you love like doing YouTube, and I enjoy it. I don't love it that much, man. It takes so much energy to move the camera and get different angles and make sure that the lighting is proper on every single one and make sure the focus is right. Half the time you're out of focus, so then you have to refilm things. And it's like you want to get you've got your overhead angle and you've only got the one camera and you're doing your art, and then halfway through you want to get like a nice little like B-roll of you coloring something in, so you have to move the camera. And it's so much work and it's so much time, and it's like sometimes it's like, well, I can just post on Instagram. I can just take a picture of the piece that I just did and post it, and a bunch of people are going to like it. But for YouTube, I have to like spend hours and hours just making a video for literally basically the same outcome, except on one I'm getting paid and on one I'm not like directly getting paid. And it's so for me, even though I know logically YouTube is like the ideal platform because it helps you get to know your audience, you're seen as a person, you are directly making money. And I know I just made this whole thing about like on Instagram, you have to do the work. And I get that it's hypocritical of me, but for me...
Oh yeah, no, but like your opinion is totally valid. Like,
thank you.
Yeah, fair. Like, it's a lot of work. Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It's just, they're different kinds of work. It just depends on what you prefer.
And I personally just think Instagram is just so much more accessible. I think YouTube is so hard to break in, and like you said, if you have the right formula, if you know exactly what you're gonna do, you can get there, and you can get there. So you have these beautiful videos, and you do so well, and now you're finally getting that recognition, and you are astronomically growing, and that's awesome. But for someone who can't afford a really nice camera, what if that never happens for them, and they hear all of this, all it takes is no SEO or no this, and so they think they know all of that, but one thing is missing, and so they never get the right views, and nothing ever goes. And I just,
that could also be true on Instagram though.
That absolutely,
it's always going to be a gamble.
Absolutely.
Always.
And that's just the nature of all social media.
So I started my channel in May of 2020. Used my phone. It was an iPhone 11. It was new for me at the time. I got it to film, but the thing is, the lenses and the sensors on these phone cameras, they don't let in a lot of light, and that is a problem when you live in the Midwest or when you live in Alaska, as I moved there later that year, and it gets dark super fast in the winter in Alaska really early, and it stays that way, and the sun is just not very bright at that time of the year in that part of the country, and that is a problem when you are filming on a camera that has such a small sensor. Well, the first few videos on my channel were lit properly. Great, love that for me. My third video ever is still one of my most popular videos of all time because it was lit correctly, and if you have that lighting setup, awesome, good for you. You're gonna do fine.
Right, yeah.
But when winter comes around and it does get darker earlier, that's a problem. And I posted 11 videos and I gained 147 subscribers my first 6 months on YouTube, so from May to December. But as soon as I got my Canon M50, which by the way was dirt cheap, I paid $350-ish for this camera. I think the quality looks great. I have a Tiffin diffusion filter on it to soften the digital look a little bit, and I played the settings a little bit. The image that I get out of this camera is awesome, and I have a Rode video mic ago that I think was $100 for my audio, and this mic over here for the podcast, which is an Elgato Wave Mic 1. So all in all, I did not spend more than $1,000 on all of my setup, and I'm using the same equipment now 2 years later that I got then. You learn as you go.
For sure.
It does not have to be super expensive, but all of those things, all those things that we're talking about of learning camera settings and composition and editing and being entertaining and providing value, I learned that gradually over time.
Absolutely,
my videos were not good when I first started. So after that first 6 months, my videos were honestly, they were terrible.
Oh,
they were terrible for a long time.
Yeah.
After that first 6 months, as soon as I got my camera, I posted 23 videos the next 6 month period, and I gained just shy of 500 subscribers. My first year on YouTube was not that great, but I was learning more skills. I was learning how to edit. I was especially prioritizing background. I think background and set design and lighting are things that artists do not pay enough attention to on YouTube. Having a really aesthetically pleasing space with interesting lighting and good colors and stuff can make a huge difference. I literally taught myself how to take care of plants so I could have a more planty filled studio because I knew that was aesthetically pleasing. And being willing to learn that, being willing to learn, just being dedicated to it, it's not for everybody, but if you have that determination, you can probably do it. And like I said, I do think it's genuinely worth it. But it does take a lot of work. It is chance. It's a different kind of work than Instagram. It does require kind of a different personality, I think. But if that is something that you are interested in, just accept that you're going to be bad at first and just try to improve bit by bit, teaching yourself everything that you need to know. And you can watch all of the YouTube videos that you want on how to actually improve, but you have to put it into practice. I was binge watching tons of creators like Jesse Driftwood, Tyler Stallman, Catherine Manning, Joris Hermans when it comes to my Canon M50, Catherine Manning for strategy, tons of creators. Binge watching constantly. I've watched so much YouTube in the past 2 years, it's honestly unreal. I have no idea where the time has gone. But there's a difference between watching all of that content and putting it into practice, and that took a lot of time for me to really hammer into my brain, and also I had other stuff to juggle. I was a full-time college student. I had a part-time job. I was TAing classes, and that meant grading dozens of papers every single week, and that took a lot of my time. But as soon as I left college, as soon as I had that opportunity, okay, I'm applying for jobs right now, but I really have nothing else to do until I move to New York City in a couple of months, so I'm gonna pay a lot of attention to YouTube. I'm trying to post as much as possible, try and really pay attention to the quality of my content, and I did. And a lot of my strategy so far, at least, has just been building the foundation for that long-term income and those long-term views, and trying to focus on creating value and like all of that stuff that I was talking about. Fast forward to now, I think those efforts are finally paying off.
Yeah.
I've gained like 20,000 subscribers in the past month. Like, it's been unreal. And really on YouTube, like, all you need is just a couple of videos to pop off.
Yeah.
Just a couple. And that's what happened to me. I had a couple of videos pop off every couple of months. Like, I'll get a little spike in growth, and then the spikes get bigger over time.
Yeah.
And that's led me to now, which is like, it's just insane. Like, it's really cool. And if you can do that, awesome. And right now I would consider myself to be a little bit more of a content creator than an artist on YouTube, even though my content is about art. But I like having this like day job, if you will, that's still focused on art. I'm still thinking about art all the time. Yeah. I'm still like doing all of that stuff. I'm still being super creative, and video is an art form. Absolutely. And that's why it's so hard to learn, because you're teaching yourself an entirely new medium. I think art at the end of the day is often just about storytelling, and video is great for storytelling.
Yeah.
And I prefer it as my medium. Sometimes I genuinely think that like the videos that I make are more creative and more artistic than the art that the video is about, which feels really weird. Yeah, it's not for everybody, but for people that it is for, if you can try it, give it a go. Yeah. You never know. I did not think that I was a video person when I started out, but I was like, all right, I'm going to be really bad at this for like a year, and then maybe I'll get good at it eventually. I don't know. And that's what I did.
And look at you now.
And look at me now. I'm only slightly less poor than I was before.
Oh, isn't that the dream? I've been watching a few YouTubers, artist YouTubers that I have always really loved, and I've been seeing them get more and more successful and have more and more money. And I had this realization, like I saw someone have just the most beautiful studio, and there was this moment that I was like, oh, I don't know if I like her as much anymore. I don't know if I find her relatable anymore.
Is this a subtweet? Are you subtweeting me right now? Is this about me?
It is. Actually, I think Kelsey has too many subscribers and she's no longer relatable. Sorry,
Hashtag
Kelsey.
Canceled.
Hashtag cancel Kelsey Rodriguez. Kelsey.
Can you even say my name right? Oh my god. This does not bode well for my cancellation.
I don't think I'm going to be very successful if I can't even say your name.
Yeah, that's like my armor, right? Like, my name is so unpronounceable that like I just can't be canceled. No one can reference me.
Exactly. Obviously I'm not talking about Kelsey.
But like, I know what you mean. Like the big artists that have the large, beautiful studios, and it's like, okay, clearly this is $1 million property. I cannot relate to that.
Because it's one thing to see someone have a little desk space, and then it's another thing to have, see someone have a corner of their bedroom. And then it's another thing to see them have, a separate house or separate room in their house and think like, wow, that's the dream. That's what I want one day. And it's really exciting to see them get like a small studio space outside of their home. And it's like, wow.
Imagine having a house.
Oh, girl. That's already enough for me to think like, wow, you're really successful. And then after a while, when you start to see them be like really, really like just have like this huge space and like, they're not even packing your orders anymore, and they have all these employees, and it's like, wow, you're success. Like, that's amazing. Like, I'm so happy for them. But at the same time, like, the charm of their videos, like, wears off a little bit. And it's interesting because, that happens with, like Emma Chamberlain, that happens with other YouTubers, but I never expected to see that with art YouTubers. But I've been noticing it for a few different people the last, like, few weeks, and I just thought that was, like, interesting. Like, wow, like, I didn't think it would matter, but it kind of does. I kind of am less interested in you now.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, I feel like there's a premise to this show of the channel that we're subscribing to, and oftentimes, like, you want that representation for yourself and your own experience, and, like, when that person succeeds and you're still in the same place, you're like, this doesn't really hit the same way anymore, bestie. That's valid. I actually don't like that when that happens. It's like, I still want to support them, and I don't want to like experience that feeling. So it kind of sucks, and I also don't want someone to experience that feeling about me when I get to that point. Fingers crossed.
Right.
I wish I could like to change that about myself, because I do want to like obviously support people the same way. I think that it's awesome when they achieve that level of success.
Yeah, that's the goal.
But they aren't that relatable person anymore. I think that's kind of like fine. There are always going to be art YouTubers that are in that position that do develop, and it's kind of the natural course of our careers as we grow and change and succeed. Like, we're gonna eventually hit that point, and that's okay. Yeah. That just means that you have to find another person to scratch that itch for you.
It's definitely not like, I'm definitely not wishing ill will on any artist being like, stop being successful.
But like, it's obviously you're not hustling or like hashtag in the grind mindset just starting out when
Right.
you have like,
Yeah.
you know, a full wall of windows that looks over like the Florida coastline. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it doesn't hit the same way.
Exactly. And then finally, this is probably my spiciest take.
It's red hot spicy.
It's-
Like prepare yourself.
It's pretty spicy. If there's any takes that might offend someone, I think it's this one. And so up front, I want to say I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be rude. But this is just my personal take. And that is that craft channels on YouTube are not art channels. And I understand why we get lumped together. I understand why, because like for the broad average person who maybe isn't into art, it's kind of the same thing, arts and crafts. I get it. But I just don't, we are not the same. We are not the same. I don't.
It really is very spicy.
It's spicy, and it's not as in like I'm better than you. It's just like literally they're not the same things. Like if I search for like painting
like,
tutorial,
one isn't better than the other, but they're just different categories.
They are just very different categories. Like if I'm searching like art channel, I don't want to see like scrapbooking. Like I want to see painting. Like if I look up painting channel and it's like, okay, we're gonna paint like I don't know we're gonna paint paper. I don't know what's like a good craft. Like a kid's painting craft. Like that's not what I'm looking for. Like that's not what I'm looking for. And it,
like,
again,
like macaroni art.
right? Yeah, and not that those are what the crafts that like were even like scrapbooking. Like they're really cool crafts and that I love. But like in general, the art community and the like crafting community merge, but like they're not the same. And when
they could totally overlap.
Absolutely.
Like, there could obviously be like scrapbooking channels that are more art focused than others, and like there's, for example, like bullet journaling YouTubers that pay a lot of attention to their spreads, like do like mini paintings.
Yes.
That is more art related than someone that just like writes in a notebook. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like it makes sense there's this overlap and there's this confusion, but I do agree that like a painting that's just about bullet journaling and a painting that's about like classical realism oil painting they're different categories.
They're different things.
Not the same thing.
They are very different things. And like, listen, these craft channels, these bullet journaling, like I'm eating that up. I'm eating it up.
Oh yeah.
But it's just, it's not the same.
We're not saying that like one piece of content is better than the other, just that they're different. They're going to require different strategies. They're going to require like different audiences. Like it's a different thing.
They are different. And that's my hot take.
So let us know if you were offended by any of these in the comments.
Absolutely.
Which ones you agree with, which ones you want to argue with us about. We are active in the comment section.
We're ready to go.
And if you wanted to ever reach out to us via email, if you have any questions for us for like the comment section segment, let us know. We would love to hear from you. And that is our episode.
Yeah.
I hope that you guys have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.